Hello and welcome to another update on the Sherwood real estate market. This is Steve Thoele. I'm a principal broker with Premier Property Group, and this update is going to cover the last 8 weeks of market activity ending this past Sunday, October 8th. So I'm going to share the screen with you now and go through the data with you. So first off, we'll look at active listing activity. I showed last week we had 9 new properties come on the market in Sherwood, and boy, this has just been the model of consistency here. You can kind of see we've had between pretty much 9 to almost 9 across the board here in terms of new listings every week. So it's been very steady. Total listings been pretty consistent as well. Had a high of 87 homes on the market here 7 weeks back, and then over this past month it's just been very static. So finished with 81 homes on the market as of this last week. The median list price and days on market for those actives, you can kind of see that's been on the rise. We got down to a low of 745 here about a month ago. Had a high of 788 2 weeks back. This last week fell back to 780,000 is the most recent number. And then days on market, kind of about pretty static as well. Hasn't moved a whole lot. So started off at 35, got down to a low of 30, high of 37. This last week came in at 32. So been pretty steady in terms of how long properties have been on the market and Sherwood over the past couple of months. Okay, moving along to pending sales. Last week we had 7 properties go pending in Sherwood. You can kind of see we had a low of 4, high of 12 on a week-by-week basis. In terms of total pendings, you can kind of see we had a low of 33 7 weeks back, and that had grown up to 53 3 weeks ago. And then the last couple of weeks has fallen back a bit. Most recent reading is 43 homes are currently in pending status in Sherwood. The median price and days on market for those pendings, you can kind of see we had a low of 725 8 weeks back. Very next week it jumped up to 810. And then this last week, it kind of went back down to kind of close to where we started at 730,000. The days on market, you can kind of see we've been over the past 5 or 6 weeks very steady at 36, 37 days of average market time in Sherwood on the pendings. And then lastly, we'll look at sold listing activity. So as of the time I put this together, I showed we only had 3 homes go from pending to sold. This always usually gets bumped up a listing or two, and it's way down from 2 weeks ago where we had a big surge of 17 homes closed that week. And when I look back over the prior 4 weeks of activity on a week-by-week basis, we hit a high of 38 closings over the prior 4 weeks here to early on the period, about 7 weeks back, and then it drifted down to a low of 17, and then it kind of bumped back up here with this pop of quite a few closings we had up to 32, and this last week clocked in at 30 of closings over the prior 4 weeks, most recent number there. The sold price, days on market for those sold listings, you can see we had a low of 630 here a month ago, and it's climbed up to just shy of 800,000 this last week. So 797 was the most recent median sold price for these 30 homes that have most recently sold. And then days on market, that started off at 22, drifted down to a low of 8 here about a month ago, and has since kind of gone back up. The last 2 weeks we've been 24, 25 days of average market time for the homes that have closed most recently in Sherwood. And then the last thing we'll look at is the weeks of inventory and the sale price as a percent of the original list price. So the red bars is that weeks of inventory number, and kind of measures relative supply and demand in the market. And you kind of see we started off at about 10 weeks of inventory. That climbed up to a high of just shy of 19 weeks 3 weeks back. And then with that big kind of surge we had in closings over the past couple of weeks, dropped this number down to closer to 10 or 11 weeks or so of inventory. So 2.5 or so months of inventory is kind of where we sit right now in Sherwood. And then on the sale price as a percent of the original list, we had a low of just under 97% to begin the period, and that got up to a little above 98% about a month ago, and then it's slid back a bit. We're now, a little under 98%. So most recent read is 97.7%. So, all in all, still, I would say, a moderating seller's market in Sherwood, 2.5 months of inventory, and, prices of, across the board here been holding fairly steady over the past 2 months. So, interest rates are continuing to be a weight on the market for sure. You probably, I don't know if you saw the headlines, but interest rates did kind of shoot up again this last week. Somewhere between 7.75% up to 8% is kind of the range I was seeing for what lenders were quoting for a 30-year fixed rate loan, which was up about quarter to half a point, depending upon your credit and so forth program. So so going forward, as we move throughout fall, typically you have this typical seasonal slowdown, and then with rates on top of that, I would anticipate we're going to see probably inventory numbers kind of head up as we move along here. So, but I'll keep you updated. So hope that was all helpful for you. As always, if I can ever answer any questions or be of any help, please don't hesitate to reach out. My phone number and email address are always down below these videos. So reach out and let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Always appreciate any likes, comments, and shares that you have for these videos. It lets me know that you're finding some value in them. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, always encourage you to do that. It's a great way for you to stay up to date on what's happening in your local market. So be sure to click that subscribe button before you leave. So hope you have a great day and week ahead, and we'll see you on the next update.